For the first 30 years of his life, Evan painted in every color he could find. He traded for pigments from traveling merchants, deep reds from crushed stone, greens from distant plants, blues so rare and expensive they arrived wrapped in cloth like sleeping children. His studio was a joyful chaos of color. People praised his work. They said he had a gift for abundance, for richness, for a kind of overwhelming beauty that made you feel the world was larger than you had thought. Then his eyes began to fail, not all at once. Slowly, the way important things are usually lost. First, the subtle differences between shades. Then, over the following years, color after color began to leave him, leaching quietly away like water from cracked earth. The doctors in the next town told him what he already knew. It would continue. It would not stop. He did not paint for a year. He sat in his studio surrounded by his jars and his brushes and his unfinished canvases, and he experienced something he had no precise word for. A grief that was not only about sight, but about identity. About who he was without the thing he had built himself around. His neighbors brought food. His friends offered kind and helpless words. He nodded and thanked them and remained in his studio alone. Then, one morning near the end of that year, he opened a jar of deep brown, the color of river mud, of old wood, of earth in autumn, and he began to paint. Just that, just brown. He painted every day. He used no other color. Within the single limited range of that one shade, its lightness and darkness, its warmth and coolness, the difference between brown and shadow and brown and afternoon light. He found an entire world he had been passing over his entire life, too busy looking for the spectacular to notice the profound. Shapes emerged from his canvases that his earlier, more colorful work had never achieved. Stillness, wait, a sense of time that could not be manufactured, only arrived at. The faces he painted in those years looked like people who had lived, not performed living, but truly carried it, through seasons and losses and long ordinary days. People came to see his new work and stood in front of it for a long time without speaking. "How did this happen?" a young painter asked him one afternoon. She had come a great distance specifically to ask. Evan set down his brush. He looked at the canvas in front of him. A simple scene, a woman carrying water, rendered entirely in shades of brown. "When I had everything," he said, "I painted everything, and the paintings were beautiful." He paused. "But when I had only one thing left, I had to learn what that one thing actually was." The young painter looked at the canvas. "And what is it?" she asked. He considered for a moment. "Light," he said simply. "It was always only ever light. The colors were just the way I was measuring it." He went back to his painting. The young painter stood there for a long time after he turned away. She looked at the woman with the water jar, at the extraordinary life in that simple brown figure, at the light falling across her in a way that felt entirely real and entirely tender. She left his studio with fewer certainties than she had arrived with, and a great deal more to work with. What remains after everything is taken is not the least of you. It is the most essential.